I want to welcome everyone to District's 38 Voice Fusion session on energizing your Toastmasters meetings, enhancing the club experience with our esteemed panelists, Kris Poole. I'm going to allow her to introduce her esteemed panelists. I know one or two of them, but that's about it. So I'm going to leave that introduction to her. But for now, I'm going to introduce Kris so we may begin our session. So Kris Poole is a four-time DTM. She has been a member of Toastmasters since April 2005 and is currently a member of the Sheboygan 2021 Toastmasters and Cream City Communicators. Both are in District 35. As a seasoned Toastmaster, Kris continues to find new ways to stay actively involved. She currently holds the officer roles of President, Vice President Education, and Treasurer between the two clubs. She has held the club officer roles of Vice President Public Relations and Membership. Beyond the club, leadership roles include District Administrative Manager, District Secretary, twice, District Newsletter Editor 5.5 times, Area Director, Club Growth Director, Program Quality Director, District Director, and immediate past District Director. And she's also been on the DLC, which is the District Leadership Committee, the Spring Conference Chair, and who knows what else. Just an outstanding leader. And if you have any questions about Toastmasters, Kris is your go-to person. She is ready with a smile, always a hug, and a willingness to share her experience and knowledge. Please welcome Kris Poole. Kris.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for attending our session here tonight. The purpose of our session, the Energizing Your Toastmasters meeting, enhancing that club experience. It's not just for new members, it's for all of our members. I'm hoping with the questions and the responses that we get from our panelists tonight that we can stimulate some conversation with all of you as well. We want to come up with some practical ideas that can enhance the overall club experience. We want to give suggestions and ideas to energize your members and lead to more engaging meetings. I do not have handouts tonight. You are encouraged to take lots of notes, so get your pen, whatever color you decide. Mine's red for the holiday season here. Get your pen and paper ready to go. If you have questions throughout our session, pop them into the chat box. I'll see if I can incorporate those questions as we go through. Otherwise, depending on the question, we may hold them off to the end as part of just a general Q&A session. The panelists that I have brought here tonight with you, I have, as you said, I've been a member now almost 20 years, lot of club experience, district experience, and that means a lot of networking and meeting other individuals. And that's what I have brought with me tonight. I would like to first introduce Kathy Shine. She is a member of my Cream City Communicators Club. She is the one who made me join Toastmasters, and she is the Toastmaster that I have known the longest. Kathy, why don't you say hello? Give us about a 1 to 2 minute intro of what you like about Toastmasters.
Hi, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. What I like most about Toastmasters is having the opportunity to meet extraordinary people, to have an opportunity to network and to share ideas.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. One of the newer Toastmasters that I have met, and I've actually been doing a little bit of mentoring with her, is Nadia. Nadia is also a DTM. She comes from the Las Vegas area. Nadia, give us a very brief welcome, and what do you enjoy most about Toastmasters?
Thank you so much, Kris. Good evening, everyone. I have been in Toastmasters since about 2009 on and off. And I think what I love most is it's where introverts tend to gather or extroverted introverts. So for me, it's another avenue to meet people. And I find that Toastmasters has really become more of a family for me. It's not getting together to grow so much as it's getting together with your friends to just enjoy each other. So this has been my family. When I tried to step away, it called me back, and I'm like, I miss my peeps.
Oh, wonderful. I actually had the opportunity. I met Nadia initially online because I enjoy visiting clubs virtually around the States. Even I venture a little bit outside of the US. And she actually had the opportunity to come this past summer. She had a layover here in Milwaukee. So I drove down and we were able to meet up for the first time in person, get that hug, have some breakfast, and just a little bit of one on one time. So, of course, majority of our conversations centered around Toastmasters. Networking also goes beyond who I know specifically. It's who do I know or who do you know that knows someone who can help. And that is why we have with us tonight Sharla Ozen. She is an immediate past district director. So, again, more knowledge with this district leadership here. Sharla, tell us how you came to be about my panelist here tonight.
Thank you so much. I love talking about my wonderful Toastmasters family, and I got the email from my district director. Not everyone else is in Texas, just my personal district director. She was a trio member for me. I was club growth. She was district director. Wonderful, fantastic Joe Ido. That's what I love about our Toastmasters family. Not only do we learn and grow together, we also share opportunities. I was invited to speak overseas in London. Wow. And now I'm invited to come and speak in Pennsylvania. Fantastic. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Kris.
Thank you so much, Sharla. All right, coming all the way from the Bahamas, nice and warm. You should send some of that here because it is 5 degrees here in Wisconsin. We have Ivan Thompson here. He is my buddy. He's my hug buddy too. Welcome, and give us a short little brief reason why you decided to come and support us here tonight and why you love Toastmasters.
Absolutely, Kris. Thank you. As she says, I'm Distinguished Toastmaster Ivan Thompson. I live where you vacation. Greetings from the sunny isles of the Bahamas. And I've been in Toastmasters since 1998 and going strong still today. And Toastmasters has afforded me to meet wonderful persons. The opportunity was just, you couldn't pay for it. And this is how I met the lovely Kris, who is my hug buddy, Joseph, who was my brother from another mother, and so many other persons. Is actually where Toastmasters became family. So many Toastmasters that became godparents to my children. They're now godparents, so they are family. And of lately now, with the new Toastmasters in the organization, it's about sharing the knowledge and the experience that I've garnered over the years to develop these new up-and-coming leaders and communicators. And that's why I love this dynamic program.
Oh, I love hearing that. I love your accent. I love it. It's been too long since I've heard your voice and seen your face. We are now going to go from one warm area, the Bahamas, all the way to the lovely, wonderful Hawaii. Let us welcome Dr. Joseph Skoda. He has finally caught up to me with a number 4 DTM, and his nickname is Cuddles, but that's just for me. Tell us a little bit why you are still a member of Toastmasters and what you love.
I love that, Kris, so much, and I appreciate you, Cuddles, and all of that. If I went to the Toastmaster, no one's going to invite me to be a panelist. No one's going to invite me to go out there and share my experience. Toastmasters is why I'm a Toastmaster. I started 13 years ago. It's very interesting. My wife started 13 years ago, and I met my wife in a Toastmasters club. Last year, we got married in that same Toastmasters club. They were doing a going away party because we're moving from California to Hawaii. And it just so happens one of the members is a minister. And when everyone asked, when you getting married? When you getting married? And he's like, well, why not right here, right now? We're all family. We all love each other. So we got married in the Toastmasters meeting where we first met. Now, very interested. When I was working my way up the trio, it wasn't a trio. There was 5 of us, 2 club growth directors, 2 program quality directors, because eventually we were going to split. Now, when I was at the bottom of that totem pole, Nadia was part of the team also. We were part of the same District 33, and then she split off and tucked in 115. But it was a lot of fun, but I got to know her and so many of you through conventions, through the virtual world, and my wife. So Toastmasters, in my heart, is here to stay. Thank you, Cuddles.
Oh, as some of you can probably tell, the panelists that I've brought here for you, that energy level, it is so high. And I know that each and every one of us, we bring that energy level to our club meetings as best as we can. My first question is to Nadia. How do you maintain energy throughout an entire meeting from the opening to the conclusion of a meeting? What are the best practices, or what do you do, or what have you seen to maintain that energy?
What my home club Jackpot Speakers does, and what I've seen in the clubs that I particularly like, is that everyone has some opportunity to participate. When everybody is able to be engaged and you have an exchange of ideas and information, I think that's just a great outcome for anybody in the audience, anyone who has given a speech. And whether it's a brand new person, their first time in Toastmasters, just being able to introduce themselves and get out of that shell, to the round robin evaluations that we're known for. We are home of the 30-minute evaluation. And so everybody gets a chance to put in on the speeches that they've heard or do a table topics. And then we circle back at the end for guest comments, for any wins going on in your life, to highlight another member that did something extraordinary. So everyone is encouraged to participate and really be heard at every meeting.
Thank you so much, Nadia. I love hearing all about that. And I'm seeing that several of our panelists are dropping their contact information into the chat. So all of our attendees, feel free to copy the chat, reach out to us afterwards. How can we maybe share some additional suggestions for you? Maybe invite us to one of your upcoming meetings. All right, meetings, meeting themes. Do you have a meeting theme for every meeting, only at certain times of the year? Do you have the meeting theme run throughout that entire meeting, or is it just kind of through table topics? Kathy, tell us or share with us 1 or 2 of the best creative meetings and fun meetings you have ever participated in.
That's a great question. Thanks for asking. I have fond memories of actually 3 meetings in particular, and they all followed the exact same theme. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our audience's participation of murder mysteries at Toastmasters. The very first one that I participated in was Going to the Movies Can Be Murder. It was based upon a suggestion from one of our members that they really enjoyed the time frame of the 1950s. Someone else offered the suggestion that in the 1950s, they did drive-ins. So the entire meeting was framed around the idea of Vinnie Rebello being run over in the driveway. Everybody had a meeting role, and it was explosively fun. For a suggestion, the table topics master served as the head of the FBI and then conducted his examination of all of the participants and the members who were present. The general evaluator served as the judge, and each of the characters had a particular role. Ida Haddam was one of our characters. Anita Badlove was one of the characters, part of the Pink Ladies group. It was really fun. And without going into too much detail, let me just tell you that the result of this first murder mystery had recommendations from the majority of the members that one of the pink ladies who gave a presentation was that her speech was so hilarious that they recommended that she enter our district's humorous speech contest. And she took her presentation and ran it all the way up to district level competition. So that was an exciting outcome as a result of this one idea. Now, a couple of years later, at another one of my clubs, I had brought up the idea, a mystery meeting, and we said, well, what kind of mystery? It turned into a 1920s jewelry heist at the museum. So that was a whole lot of fun. We had the Egyptian blue jewels that were stolen. And during this time frame, Dapper Dan had just opened up a speakeasy down the street. So we had all of these different characters. That was really exciting. And the third murder mystery we did was in the 1820s, and it was bullets and barbecue. It was a cowboy western theme, and it was just hilarious. The beautiful thing and what was most exciting is that we started by asking the members, what kind of a fun meeting would you like to have, so that they could step out of the normal, let's give a speech, who wants to be the evaluator. It turned into something incredibly dynamic and energetic. So those are the top 3 loves of specialty meetings that we ran. And we've done so many others, but those are the top 3 that stand out. Back to you, Kris.
So much, Kathy. That is wonderful. Brings back some memories for myself. I remember the Who Shot the Sheriff episode, and I was an evaluator, which meant that I was the attorney for my client who was the speaker. And it was just so much fun. And it was interesting trying to incorporate this character while still following and learning those Toastmaster practices. Joseph, tell us about some of the fun meetings that you have had or experienced.
Well, thank you so much for that. It's very interesting. I belong to a couple specialty clubs. One's called TM Studios in California. One is called Hawaii Comedy Central. And they focus around improv. Rather than table topics, we'll do improv. Maybe someone's driving a bus and you're picking up a guy on the street. He has a dog, and then someone has a cat. They fight on the bus, and so every character has something to do, something to say. Then they'll drive on. Usually the cat or dog. Sometimes one of them doesn't make it, so then maybe they'll pick up a pig on the bus down the road, and we see how they interact with whoever survives. I find improv is different than table topics because you have to think on your feet, of course, but you're making up characters as you go along. So I think specialty clubs like that are so important. And the one club I belong in, TM Studios, not only we do improv, but we do film production. We do commercials. We'll do presentations for our district at the convention. We'll have a lot of people editing. So you learn how to talk in front of a camera. You learn how to edit the film. You learn how to do the commercial and the edits. It's so much fun to do that because most of us are good at a little part. Well, when you can open it up to try different things, we're Toastmasters. We're going to fail. We're going to make mistakes. But most of us have a passion enough to willing to teach someone who's willing to learn. So I love the improv, and I love, quite frankly, film production. It just changes it up a little bit. Fun.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a question in our chat from Anne, and she asks or says, 75% of our members have less than 6 months of Toastmasters. Is it appropriate to have a mystery theme if they might not know the meeting roles? Kathy, you gave a typed answer. Why don't you give a verbal response real quick then also?
Certainly. My response is that anybody at any level can participate in a murder-themed mystery meeting if that's what your members approve to do. And the reason that I suggest this is that brand new members who are all working in level 1, the basics of an organization, body movement, gestures, vocal variety, you lend that excitement. And the way that we ran our murder mysteries was that we gave them characters. So they had a little synopsis of what the character would be, and then they chose how the direction of their role would go. So if you kind of plant that seed, it just makes it very easy. If you'd like to have information from the 3 that I mentioned, I have meeting notes. I'd be happy to email that out to anybody who would be interested. And I'll put my email address into the chat.
Thank you so much, Kathy. Now, Sharla, in your introductory material that you sent me, other than the members matter most, I love that. But you also said that you like to have fun and your favorite club awards are Master Evaluator of the Universe and Lip Sync Club Champion. How do these types of awards come about? And tell us a little bit more about them. Do you have criteria? Tell us.
Thank you so much for asking. In order to keep our members energized, we know everything isn't necessarily about competition, but people do like to win something. And isn't it nice to leave a Toastmasters meeting with a takeaway? We have some takeaways. I'm part of several clubs, community clubs, corporate clubs, advanced club, and then a sci-fi club. Yes, I am a Jedi master. But at one of our clubs, at Dining Out Toastmaster, it's an advanced club. We have a lot of leaders. And there we did Master Evaluators of the Universe. Well, by having an interesting title, and we're putting it of the universe, we skipped the world, went straight to the universe. We piqued people's interest, and now they're like, oh, wait a minute, I have to bring my best game now because I'm going to be an evaluator. And we set the different criteria of what the evaluators are going to evaluate. And we have 2 speakers, and then they are evaluated by several evaluators in different categories. And we'll evaluate the evaluators will go head to head with each other. And then we will have a vote for who was the most supreme, the master evaluator of the universe. And we have a Statue of Liberty flame that we give. The club keeps it, but that person gets to stand next to the flag and say, this year, I am the master evaluator of the universe. And it does cause quite a stir in our district because we have a club called Master Evaluators. You do know their members attended that meeting. So it was good to get member engagement and club engagement. Oh, I'm sorry. The last thing you mentioned was in regards to this one, we do have a Toastmasters group that I'm a member of. It's Dance and Toast, and they have a lip sync competition. Wow. What better way to gesture than a lip sync competition? And it's open to everyone in the district. People come from all around, and it's always a fun to see what Toastmasters are going to do. Is it going to be a Broadway stage play? Is it going to be a pop idol tune? You never know, but you're always surprised. You're always engaged, and people like to participate. Thank you for asking.
Fantastic. Now, for those 2 awards, are those given at every meeting, or is it maybe only once a year that it culminates?
Yeah, so for these specific ones, these are once a year. Once a year, you're the master evaluator of the universe. So that way, since we have evaluators that win at our different club meetings, this one, master evaluator of the universe, everyone comes prepared because it only comes around once. Lip sync champion is only once for the entire District 56. So that puts a little pressure on, and you get people that want to engage, but you don't put so much so that they feel, do we have to do this again this week or next month? No, once a year, and it's very popular. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, Ivan, how do you keep the newer members and your experienced members engaged and energized in meetings? Have you found some different ideas, or what do you suggest?
Well, how do we keep newer members and the existing members engaged? One of the ways we keep them engaged, basically, first of all, are themed meetings. We have theme meetings for every club meeting. Now, in the Bahamas, we have themed meetings and we have special meetings. So every week, there is something different. And we try to inculcate those meetings by using the younger and more experienced Toastmasters. Younger person speaks, the older Toastmasters do the evaluation. And so we have themed meetings every week. And why? It keeps the suspense, and at a rate, you have the suspicion it killed you that you feel like you cannot miss a meeting this week. Now, I'm a member of four clubs, and one of my clubs, suffice it to say, Kris, as you know, is the only males-only Toastmasters club in the world. That's the first Bahamas branch of Toastmasters. Every year, besides our weekly themed meetings, because our meeting is tonight, tonight on Thursday night at 8 p.m., besides our weekly theme meetings, we have a special meeting twice a year, every February during Valentine's and every October. We call those meetings Ladies' Night. Why? Because women are not generally a part of our club. And so we have a Ladies' Night where we cater to the women. What do we give them? Flowers, candies. We even have vendors that come out there. And I will tell you one thing, Kris, the minimum amount of persons that attend this meeting every year is 400 plus. Every year, we have to take the meetings outside of our regular meeting place, and we have to rent a hotel banquet hall. We have to go into a major hotel, into a convention center, and have ladies' night. Why? Because so many people want to get involved. Corporate Bahamas want to be there. They want to showcase. So in the lobby, they showcase their events. Floral stores that sells flowers during Valentine's, so all the candies and all the chocolates are on display. Everybody want to be a part of this. And what do? We showcase the older members where they are the Toastmaster of the night. They may do the table topics. They may do the evaluation. And then we have the younger members, the younger, vibrant young men. We usually have 4 to 5 speakers. We have 4 to 5 speakers, and they are all evaluated. And, we do have every week where we vote for Speaker Evaluator of the Night, where we give little trophies. But on this night, we give bigger Toastmaster trophies. And then what do we do? We engage our audience. We have all of the women vote for, we call it the People's Choice Award. So the women get to decide who they felt was the better speaker for that night. So you're not just engaging young and old, but sometimes you're engaging your guest alike. And what does this do? We encourage them to be a part of this program. We show them what this program can do for them. And we also have females from the other club that they come and they showcase where they do member canvassing. And we tell them, okay, you may not be a part of this club because it's an all-male club, but we have 21 other clubs here present that you can get this same experience and you can be a part of what we're doing here, okay? Because Toastmasters is open to all, and we believe in that. And so this is how we inculcate the newer and the older members, creating these exciting meetings, engaging everyone. Everyone is important. We are all here to learn. And even though I've been in this program almost 30 years, we know we are still learning from each other. And sometimes I am happy and I'm glad when a newer Toastmaster, when I present, they evaluate my presentation. And so this is how you engage them all alike. There is no fear or there is no intimidation because we are all here to learn. We are all here to, we just do this together. We blend everything. So sometimes you have to come out of the box and think creatively. You got to think different. Now, mind you, we're using the same Toastmasters pattern where we're learning, where we're evaluating, where we're using the same basic principles, but the methodology must change to keep that interest high and that energy level high, and so that everybody can be engaged.
That is fantastic. Now I do have to ask, Valentine's in February, sweetest day in October?
We do something different in October, and every time, sometimes we have to get the venue. It grows. One year we were almost to 600 persons. It was really, really crazy because we have a DJ that provides the music in between. When the speakers are coming on, they come on with their themed music and they're dancing. We have men in construction. They have outfits. One came with construction gear with his overalls, with his big jackhammer, and it was It was just, it was phenomenal. And the speeches, because they go all out and they want their presentation to be on point. And these younger Toastmasters, they rehearse and they practice for weeks and weeks because they want their speech to be on point. And in fact, every meeting, because we meet on Thursdays at Men Club, but every Tuesday, we have what's called Lab. Lab means it's a training session where you go and you practice and you rehearse for when you come to club meetings. And so Lab goes into full effect. Everybody, they bring their A game, so to speak, because, they want their presentation to be right. Because besides being voted for Speaker of the Night, they're all gunning for this People's Choice Award, where they want these ladies to vote in their favor. And so it always brings excitement. It always brings energy. And so, you can't go wrong with special theme meetings. And when you do that, you find persons outside of the four walls of your club would buy into these ideas if you just present them. You would never know how people would buy into any good idea that you may have, because the opportunities are basically endless.
Oh, so exciting. I love it. All this high energy, so many opportunities. But sometimes you have that dip. You have that roller coaster of emotions sometimes. How do you deal with some of those dips in that energy, either during an actual meeting or maybe over the course of that Toastmasters year? How do you try and get that club back on track? Nadia, what are your thoughts? How do you bring back up that energy if it has started to wane a little bit?
I think one of the most important things is to always tap into what brought people through the door in the first place. What is your goal? Why are you here? So something I did more so as VPE, right now I'm serving as VPM, but the check-ins, those surveys that they have for new members or interested members, or when you first join a club, that you outline, this is my goals, this is why I'm here, this is what I hope to accomplish, and also having a mentor for the members. And I encourage people, it's okay after 4 or 5 speeches to try out a different mentor, because everybody has different experience. So just stay engaged, make sure that they're accomplishing their goals, and really get on people. You can't really be passive about it. You have to say, hey, you said you're trying to get a promotion. I haven't seen you speak in a while. So we're going to put you on the agenda next week. And, let's pair you with someone to start working through your speech so that it's polished and you're ready to go. But you have to make sure that people are participating, and you have to let them know that you really care about their goals. If you haven't seen someone in a while, don't just say, oh, I hope they're doing okay. Give them a phone call and say, hey, we miss you. We want you back. Your energy is important. Your feedback is important, because every meeting that we have is a round robin, and it really is everybody putting in that makes all of us better. So make sure that you're really tapping into what's going on in people's lives, what they want to accomplish, and then nudge them to say, we want you to get there. We want you to be a part of our winning story for our club. So how can we help you get to where you're trying to go?
I love it. Thank you so much. Now, Joseph, how many clubs do you belong to right now?
Currently, I only belong to 4, but I visit at least 4 extra clubs a week.
Okay. So I'm going to guess that the regular clubs, or the 4 you belong to, that they're not all necessarily specialty clubs. In a regular club, or even in the specialty clubs, what challenges did you face when you were trying to re-energize some of those club meetings? How did you help them overcome that issue?
Sure. Well, I belong to 2. My primary club is called South County Presenters. During COVID, no one wanted to go to meetings, right? They did not want to go to virtually, and we fell apart. What we had to do is invite people, and I tell them all the time, if you want a guest at your club, go visit someone else's club and invite them. You cannot just invite them without going back and forth and doing the same favor. So we became an international club almost overnight. I started that year COVID happened. I visited 97 clubs around the world. 97 clubs, all different time zones, but I was inviting them to my club that was quite frankly falling apart. I don't even think we had the 8 members, but we kept inviting people. And we had people from Singapore and Saudi Arabia and Malaysia and Japan, as well as over the US. I think even you, Kris, were one of our guest speakers at one time. You have to go and invite people. And then you invite the other people that left and said, this is not your grandfather's Toastmaster Club anymore. We've evolved. And when they can see that you evolved in a good way, it attracts people. Now, unfortunately, that particular club, most of the members are still from outside of California, and we probably will never be in person totally. Now, I also belong to a World Travelers Toastmasters Club, which is based in Singapore. When I was president last year, my treasurer was from Connecticut, my VPM from Africa, my VP from Malaysia, my sergeant arms from Japan. It was crazy. And we all had different time zones and we had to get up. And what was so exciting, well, I made President's Distinguished to get to walk across the stage earlier this year, which is huge. But last month, we held 100-year anniversary and we had 100 speakers. We did it over a 20-hour period around the world. And I was one of the Toastmasters. I think we broke up into 6 or 7 sections. And I wasn't even qualified to speak. Only international presidents, international directors, world champion public speakers, maybe an RA or two were the only ones who were speaking at this event, despite those who were co-hosting it. So you got the epitome, you got the cream of the crop, you had the best of the best. We had about, I think the total was 970 people that showed up in that 20-hour period. That was crazy and cool. And thankfully, I didn't have to start my section until 5 a.m. I didn't have to be there the whole time, but I was there probably at midnight, a few hours later. But that's the things you have to do when things are falling apart. What can we do different? How do we get people excited? If you want someone at your meeting, go to another meeting, another club, and invite them. Trust me, I'm in the chat box now, like, hey, I haven't heard from you in a long time. Abby, come on, join my club. Ivan, everyone, I'm going to send you the invites. And I expect the same. I love speaking, but when things are falling apart, you have to make it exciting. I was given this big gavel as district director, DTM, all that fun stuff. And I had a smaller gavel I used, but they gave me this big one as a parting gift. And you better believe it, when I'm in person at a big event or when I have everything set up right, I have a gavel and I wear a hat. People know me for that. And it's part of our brand. You want someone to know you? I can't get my hair cut done like Ivan, but I can wear a hat and cover it up, and it's all exciting. But you know how many times I go to convention? Oh, I know you, you're the guy with the hat. You know how that makes you feel? And you have to go outside of your own club, your own comfort zone, and give it your best and invite people. So how do I did it? Club's falling apart. You got to do the late work, invite others, and reverse the roles and go help them out also. So life is good, Cuddles.
That is amazing, especially that event. Anne was questioning that this is the first time that she's heard of this event. And I do remember seeing the information about it, and it just did not work in my schedule to attend any of it. But when you're saying that all the speakers were, the upper level, the international directors, officers, maybe an RA or two, Sharla, how do you feel that the leadership in a club, in any club, how does that leadership play a role in setting the tone for the energy and enthusiasm for a meeting?
Thank you so much for asking that question. I do believe that leaders should lead in all things. Everyone's eye is always on the leader. I think that in order to have successful club officers next year, you need to have successful club officers this year. For people to say, I want to be a club officer, they're looking and seeing, are these people having fun? Do they like each other? Does it seem like a hassle? Wait a minute, they're having fun. I want to do what they do. I want to be one. When we think of our club leaders, we typically, what I love about some of our advanced clubs is that the leaders get together, and at the very first TLI, we have the first club officer training in June. All the club officers go there so they can be 7 and 7, 1 and done at that first June club officer training. Then after that, when we could meet in person, we would go out to eat, and that's when we would do our club success plan. And not only that, we're looking at, well, with our club success plan, that's when we're looking at our DCP goals. For our DCP goals, we're looking at, number one, which club officers are going to volunteer first, leaders lead first, and say, I'm going to donate this level 5, I'm going to donate this level 3, 4. We're going to start with our leaders first. Our VPE will have the agenda made for a year with our meeting themes. We'll collaborate, but we have the theme and the word of the day already done. Now, whoever the Toastmaster is for that day, they are free to update it as they choose, but at least all the suggestions are done. When we meet together as a group, the group knows, wow, the agendas are always done because we always have an agenda. The themes are always on point. We always have our speakers now. We are Toastmasters. We do have to call a few people and have people on standby in case someone can't get there with our Houston traffic. But for the most part, our leaders lead. Thank you for asking.
I love that. Leaders setting that example. Absolutely. Now, we're kind of talking a little bit with the leadership. And I know, Joseph, you said before one of your clubs, you didn't even think that they had the 8 members. Kathy, I know that you were part of rebuilding a club that had dropped down to 3 members. Obviously, you needed to have some energy to rebuild that club. Tell us a little bit about your involvement and what did you see with that rebuilding process?
Okay, well, let's give a framework for it. First of all, it started off as a corporate club, and it was a member of a club that I was a part of that I had encouraged our outgoing president, who was going to be taking a new second shift position, and he would be leaving our club. And I said, well, where are you planning to work? So it's part of the in question, part of the engagement. And he told me the location he was going to. And I said, well, just so you know, there's a brand new club that we're thinking of starting. He said, how can I get involved? So now we have somebody coming in, and we invited him to be the mentor for the new club. So, right, we're connecting the dots. We're making it easy for the members to work toward their goals. So he came on board and not only served as mentor, he also served as their club president, right? He knew the ropes. He knew how to get them started. So they served as a corporate club. 3 years later, the club owners, the organization, was going to relocate out of the state of Wisconsin, and they were moving to Texas. All the members who were part of the corporate club were relocating to Texas with the company. That's what resulted in the change in membership. They had been 27 members. Only 3 people were planning to retire and staying in the area. That's when they said, let's reach out to Kathy, because I was one of the original sponsors. So I offered to serve as the club coach, another win. And because I knew the community where they were residing, I asked the question. I said, well, how long is the building going to be intact? They said, it'll be here for 1 more year. So I reached out to other employees who were planning to stay in the Wisconsin area, who were planning to retire, other people who were in the maintenance crew, etc. And I asked, do any of those employees want to be part of Toastmasters? They had never been tapped, right? Because at a corporate club, sometimes you say, well, we only have the capacity for X number. Well, now with their current members relocating, it opened up the floor. Within 3 months, we grew the membership from 3 members up to 23. Now, the result of this is that one of the members, her spouse, was the maintenance coordinator for one of the local churches. I asked her, again, part of the networking, part of the having connections with the members, would they be interested in hosting a Toastmaster club? I don't know. Let me ask. They went, they asked, they came back, they said yes. So we then found a new home for the club, and we were able to transition those members to the new location, and we were able to take about half of those members to the new venue. So over a 2-year period, we had a high number of members. Club dropped down to 3. We built it back up to 20 plus, relocated. We dropped down. I think that their drop down number was, I think, 13 or 14. But then because we were in the church, then the church gave us permission to advertise in their weekly bulletin. And then we built the club back up again to 20 members. And I was active in that club, oh gosh, for almost 15 years. And it was just 2 years ago that I decided to drop. But the storyline is consistent. I have served as a club coach for a bilingual club. I've served for an ESL club, and I've also served for a specialty media club. And sometimes the club coaching took more than 1 year because they were not ready for all the transitional items that needed to take place. But we built a 2-year plan and we got consensus. Anytime that you have low membership, you have to get consensus of the members who are physically staying and ask, what are your priorities? Because a club coach cannot go in and say, this is what I want to do, because the club coach is not going to stay there. You have to ask the people, what do they want? Do they still want to be a Toastmaster club? And if they do, then put a plan together that they are in line with. And then make it manageable for them, because sometimes turning it around quickly cannot happen, because there might be multiple phases for the change. But when you get the folks on board and they want to drive the bus, right? We should be the luggage in the rear. We should not be their bus driver. That has to be clear. But when they are driving the bus and they know the route, and I think that was the part of the problem. Sometimes the new driver doesn't know the route. This is before Magellan, this is before MapQuest, this is before all the cell phones, right? So we have to give them the route, show them the way on how to get there, and they will. So I think that's part of the engagement and the excitement, and bring the energy and make it easy for them to understand how many options there are. Brand new members, get everybody engaged and on board.
Engagement. Thank you so much, Kathy. So one of the things that Nadia had mentioned before, I don't know if everyone keyed in on it, her club, Jackpot Speakers in Las Vegas, home of the 30-minute evaluation. Now, did you start that club with the intention of having that much emphasis on the evaluations, or did it grow into that as kind of an experiment of, let's try this and see what happens?
Actually, that was an idea that came from Darren LaCroix, who also lives here in Las Vegas. He is very big on the power of evaluations and getting multiple people to listen to your presentation. And he still today brings new presentations to us to evaluate. So after seeing how he goes about crafting his speeches, a few people in Las Vegas got together and decided to start that club. And yes, from day one, the whole idea was that we are going to focus on evaluations. We've seen that people grow so much faster when they have a round robin versus just one person's evaluation per speech. And we really pride ourselves in our nearly 30-year history that when you look at all of the district winners over the years, we are somebody from our club won about 30% of the time, or at least they came through our club doors and tried to get evaluations. And so we've just built that reputation that we are the people that grow winners. And so we get a lot of people at Tate has brought clients through, Darren LaCroix has brought clients through, a couple other top people have brought clients through our doors to take advantage of that once they know that their speakers are going on to international. We've also coached people doing TEDx presentations and gone through that year-long journey with several people. And it really has become quite a winning formula. Someone who was a founding member, Narayan Doraiswamy, which a lot of people probably know, he actually moved to Virginia. And he had been one of the founding members of Jackpot. So he started a club that modeled exactly after Jackpot called Winning Something. It's in Ashburn, Virginia. winner circle, I think it is. And so they do the exact same thing. They have the round robin evaluations and they really focus on getting feedback. And sometimes people are really shy. Sometimes people are brand new. It's their first Toastmasters meeting at all. And we tell people, your input is still valuable because we are not here to just speak in a bubble. Everyone here is going on to give a presentation at work or be on a stage for a contest or give this presentation somewhere else, and you never know who you're speaking to. So we really encourage everyone to give feedback because you could be that audience member that needs to be persuaded, or we're trying to sell our business to, or we're trying to sell our product. So we really encourage feedback from all over, and it just helps you grow so much faster. And as a speaker, it's a reminder that people's opinions are just suggestions. Not all feedback has to be taken, but when you have a lot to work with, you can go ahead and redraft your speech and have a better outcome. And then even if you're not the speaker, if you're just in the audience, maybe you haven't even given your first speech yet, but just hearing the way the feedback flows and hear what people resonate with or what people didn't like, when that person goes to craft their first speech, they incorporate that. And we see a lot of people give their icebreakers, and it's like, you sound like a professional. But it's because they've been there 3 or 4 times, they've seen all of the feedback, they've heard the feedback, given some, and they're already incorporating tools to make their self really polished.
Fantastic. I love that idea. All right, this next question, we're going to see rock, paper, scissors, lizard, spot. Who of our panelists are going to want to answer this one? What techniques or initiatives have you used or you've seen in your clubs to re-energize members who may be feeling burnout or disengagement? Don't all answer at once.
Okay.
Any of our panelists?
I would like to say, as Vice President of Membership, which was the best club officer role I've ever had in my life, because for the Vice President of Membership, you get to touch all of the members. Yeah. We would definitely do a rotation on, we want to make sure, of course, people get emails because they want to always be in the know. We're going to work with the secretary so that we can have that fear of missing out to keep people engaged and want to find out, recognition and acknowledgement. Who did what happened at the meeting? And then, oh, so-and-so wasn't here, we missed it. But we want to go a little step further because we want to call them and say, hey, we missed you at this meeting. We're so sorry that you weren't here. And then not to be nosy, but we do like, is everything okay? We hope to see you at our next meeting. We do that touch base just to let them know they're not just dues. And it's not just about come. We care about you and we want you to get your goals met because we value you. And that's when we really do mean about members matter most. And please don't let that be around one of these national holidays that we have, because for February, although I want to visit the Bahamas one day if I'm ever invited, for Valentine's Day, we love our members. So our members will always get beautiful cards in the mail, and we have wonderful, fantastic Toastmasters whose created partners are like Martha Stewart on steroids. They make customized things for all the members. So not only if you win something, if you win, you get a customized cup that have, our Dining Out Toastmasters, and it has best speaker on it. So that's always nice. But what if you can't come to that meeting? And what if something is going on with your family? In District 56, because Dining Out is a leadership club, so some of the people that do things for our clubs also do things for the district. We have the compassion share in our club. So there will always be a customized letter or something heartfelt that will go that's special to them. For some person, their dog passed away. And for other people, a dog is a dog. Others, a dog is a family member. And they got something specifically for them. That was just an example of letting them know you are important to us. We appreciate you and we miss you. Please let us know when you can come, and we would love to have you engaged. That human interaction, that's the part that makes the Vice President of Membership. I like how you say you hug, we reach out and touch. So that's really what helps our members. That's one thing. Thank you.
I want to piggyback on Sharla, if I could, and say sometimes all of us get burnt out at some point in time or the other. But the important thing is just not just reaching out and touching, but and making them feel special. But you want to celebrate members. Celebrate. No one loves it more when they are celebrated. And we want to celebrate the achievements and the accomplishments in two of our clubs. One of the things we have during the business session is leading outside of the club, where members get to tell us where they are leading. Because of their Toastmasters training, they are doing other things in society and in community. So we give them a minute to share how they are leading outside of the club. My home club, the Healing Communicators, every 5 years, we have a big celebration where we select members, where we celebrate them for not just being members of the club, but for their achievements, their steadfastness, their loyalty, their dedication. This year in March, I was one of those persons that was celebrated. We had a wonderful banquet. You have to celebrate people. We had a wonderful banquet. We did a big souvenir booklet, as you can see,
Oh, wow.
in full color, where all of the members are those persons that were honored, who served so many years and did so many things in the club, bios, everything. We got wonderful crystal plaques, trophy. We celebrated. I have this big thing in my house. I don't even know where to put it anymore, Joseph. You got the big gavel, but I got this big. I about to have to turn my background off. I probably have to turn it off. Let me see if I can
You can't see it.
let me see if I turn my background off. Let me see if I turn my background off for a minute.
And turn your blur off.
Turn my blur off so that you can see it. Okay. There you go.
Cool.
This was a life-size banner that was all over the hotel rooms of all of the awardees that received award that night. I'm sitting at the front of my bar, Joseph. I wanted to blur out my bar and behind me. It's that time of the year, so I'll go back to blurring that out. And so these awards were given out by the leader of our country, who is a distinguished Toastmaster. So he was there, he presented, he spoke, his wife came, and it made persons feel so special, and it re-energized us for 5 more years to go, because we know that our labor is not in vain. Sometimes you think that the work that you do in your club or your division or your district goes unnoticed, but somebody is noticing. And I'm going to say this to our leaders: when you see you have dedicated members putting all of their time, their effort, their resources into not just developing themselves, but developing others and developing the club, we have to, in some way, pay tribute to these persons to show them we love you, we appreciate you, we appreciate what you are doing, and to keep on doing it. And this is how you keep members energized. This is how you keep them going. This is how you keep them interested. And that's why we have members in clubs here in the Bahamas for 30, 40, and 50 years, because you have to value people and you have to appreciate people. So any small token, persons appreciate it. Once they know that they are recognized and their work has not gone unnoticed, I guarantee you they will appreciate whatever small effort. It doesn't have to be on a grand scale like that, but whatever you do, I am sure they will feel loved and appreciated.
Thank you so much. Kathy, since we're on that topic now of celebrating achievements or recognizing members, what are some different ways that you've seen your clubs recognize their members, whether it's on a regular basis throughout the year or at a year-end celebration?
Well, there are a couple of strategies that we've implemented. Now, over the years, I've been active in 5 different clubs, but supporting more than a dozen clubs at different times. And one of the ideas that I love is that we celebrate individual member anniversaries. Even something as simple as through social media, right? You have your roster, you can see what their original join date is. At the start of the program year, you identify which month do you celebrate X number of members, and you make a little certificate, right? I've got a standard PowerPoint that I use. I just populate the people's names, I turn it into a JPEG, and then on the 1st of the month or the 5th of the month or whatever works best into the posting, I just go ahead and schedule it, right? So you pre-plan for the year. And if the member for some reason transfers out, no big deal. It only took you 2 seconds because your template was already set. So you can plan that kind of promotion and publicity so much earlier in the program year, but you are setting the benchmark. Another thing that we implemented at Cream City, and we started this probably 4 or 5 years ago, where we start every club meeting. Not only do we read the club mission statement, but the first part of business is member accomplishments, right? Member successes. We don't start with the boring announcements. We want to recognize our members. What we mean by that is somebody who held the role of Toastmaster for the very first time, somebody who has completed a level award, somebody has been appointed as an area director. Whatever success we can find, we will talk about it. And then after the meetings, part of what we do is we just do a print screen. This is my job this year as secretary. I capture a print screen of everybody who is in attendance, and we post that photograph after our meeting has ended on our Facebook page. And then we state the congratulations of who spoke, who gave an icebreaker, right? If I focus solely and nothing else just on recognition, I can recognize promotions, I can recognize membership anniversaries, I can recognize those people who paid their dues. I can recognize the heck out of just about anything. Members who joined, members who brought in and sponsored somebody new. Have at it and have fun. Now, on the other side, one of the things that we have done over the years is, because we believe that our Toastmaster Club are like family members and really good friends, even after someone has left our club, we stay in contact. So short story here, 2 people. Austin Francis, when he came into our club, and this is almost 12 years or so ago, he served as club president. He had been active in the club for about 6 months or so. He really wanted to develop his leadership skills. He was an up and coming banker. And he said, I want to be president. I mean, we didn't ask him. He just said it out loud. You know, leadership is my goal. I want to be club president. So when we did our elections, he was elected. When he got his promotion, he left the state. This is pre-COVID, of course. So it wasn't like we could join into Zoom meetings. He relocated, he joined another Toastmaster club. But we are still friends on Facebook. And every adventure he has, because our agreement is, hey, can we continue to post your successes? Can we continue to post where you're traveling to? And we make that connection. Former Cream City member, Austin is out in wherever. That's fun. Now, on the other side of things, we have another member who just earned her doctorate award. So Kayla, we posted that photograph. She's got a big old poster board at her hotel. Both she and her mother had been members of our club. Her mother was a member of the Johnson Controls Toastmasters Club. She joined Cream City when her daughter wanted to join because she was so nervous. She was a true introvert, quiet, reserved, and her mom said, table topics will change you. And bam, off to the gates. And she was a rock star. The idea that we are celebrating successes doesn't stop once they're no longer members, right? Because here's the winning result. When we ask visitors who come to Cream City, how did you hear about us? More than 50% tell us that they came to us through our club website because a former member told them to visit Cream City. And then when we have referrals that come in from other clubs, it's because a former member told them to come and join Cream City. So this is not just a, hey, somebody left, oh, now what do we do? You have already planted the seed. If you have had that member experience quality through your programming, they have felt success, it will carry through and it will sustain you. So be engaged, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. Hold off all the announcements till the end. Let that stuff go. That is not the priority. Celebrate your members' success. Have fun.
Thank you so much, Kathy.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Kris.
yes.
May I add one comment? Because Kathy spoke of something that was so great when you mentioned former members.
Yes.
And one of the clubs, they actually do something, we don't have many, but there are a few Toastmasters that we have that passed away. And while these Toastmasters were members, they were just so fantastic that when they passed away, we created awards in their name that highlighted what was so special about them. And at our year-end celebration, we have those dedicated Toastmaster awards so that everyone knows we will never forget our wonderful beloved members. So those are the Hallmark awards that we have. And then of course, the club president is free to create all the additional ones to celebrate our members. But I love how you mentioned about even the ones that just left because they got what they needed out of Toastmasters for that moment, and they're still spreading the word. So that's great. Thank you.
Getting goosebumps just from the remembrance, that legacy award. That is wonderful. At this time, I would like to open up for all of our attendees. Come off of mute. Do you have questions for our panelists? Remember, Toastmasters, volunteer right away. Come on. Because you never want to be voluntold from Kris.
Yeah.
Leslie.
Oh, are you looking? Are you looking straight at me? You can tell I have a
I
question.
am looking at you, Leslie. Well, I'm looking at a ceiling fan, actually. But do you have a question for any of our panelists?
Right. That thing falls over and I don't realize it. Actually, I do. I want to go back to that murder mystery theme, and I know that the individual who talked about that, so we could ask for more details. I just need clarification on one aspect of that. For the speakers, is their speech based on being a character? Is that how that works?
The way that we ran our murder mysteries, yes. So let me give you a practical example.
Okay.
When we did our going to the movies can be murder was the theme. What we did is that we had specific roles that people could pull from a hat. That's how we did our 1950s murder mystery. In other ones, we just had like a whole big list of all the different roles. And, you know, at the time that people were selecting, we didn't know who was behind the scenes of the heist or the murder. We didn't know. It was a conversation that the speakers had. But like Ida Haddam was one of the roles, Anita Badlove was another one, Axel Dent was another one, Rusty Muffle was another one, Max Physique was another. And we had a list of other possible characters. So in part of the planning, and this particular year, I was the club secretary, which is why I have all these notes. The following year, I was the VP of Education when we did our 1920s jewelry heist. So we provided context for the characters. But here's the fun thing. There are games that you can take out on murder mysteries, and you could adopt the game board materials for your murder mystery. You could be as creative or as simple as you'd like it to be. It doesn't have to be complicated, but the idea is to infuse energy and excitement into the meeting.
Right. Does the speech relate to the murder mystery?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. So can you give me an example of what the character might speak about as a speaker?
Certainly. So because the 1950s Murder Drive-In was the first one, and it is just embedded in my mind. The context was that Vinnie Ribello was run over at a drive-thru. So somebody was driving the car and killed Vinnie Ribello. So one of the people played the role of the driver who said he was not driving the car. His story was that he was in getting popcorn and somebody else had driven the car. One of the Pink Ladies gave a presentation. She was part of her crew, and she had a crush on the driver. and somebody was dating him on the side, and so they thought that she might have gotten behind the wheel of the car, and she was responsible because Vinny was cheating. You know, the whole idea is that you just take the characters and the guidelines. When we did the, I'm going to pull up the 1920s. Don Wannabe was the owner of the Four Deuces. That was the speakeasy. And we had a gentleman called Colonel Pickett. He was Dollface's father. He couldn't believe that his Southern Belle daughter would have given up her life for this speakeasy role. The whole idea is that you just engage.
Right.
And again, if you want any of these resources, I would be happy to send the 3 that I have.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much, Leslie, for the question, Kathy, for the answer. Do any of our other attendees? Okay, Anne has a question. We have several members who speak English as a second language. They tend to be shy and reluctant to volunteer because they don't want to make a mistake. It takes a lot of pulling to get them engaged. Any suggestions? Nadia, do you have any suggestions for that?
Well, for us, I think that just goes back to making a nurturing environment, making them comfortable to speak. We always like to highlight that mistakes are welcome here. We are a nice little bubble where we will cheer on anyone and anything. And we just want to help you get polished for when you are out in the real world. So much like Joseph's club, during the pandemic, my club, Jackpot, became very international as well. So we had members from Peru and Japan and several members from Australia and all over. And we did have one woman who was a little shyer. And so she did join because she saw the value in the feedback and wanted to strengthen her English skills. And we worked with her and we just helped her with, this is the proper terminology, or you might want to change something here. She had a mentor, and she went from being so shy and quiet to winning international speech at the division level 2 years in a row. And so when you see the growth in that way, it's like, it takes some time, it takes nurturing, but you just have to step out of your box. And then once you get out of your box and you have the confidence, it just grows. And now she's been able to become president in her home club in Japan and go out and spread that nurturing environment, spread what she's learned, and it just continues to build and grow. So I think that step one is that people have to feel comfortable. They have to trust that you have their best interest at heart. And this is not to just critique for the sake of critiquing, but we really are building you and making you better.
Thank you, Nadia. All right. Ivan, how do you handle members who are not sure how to give improvement tips to evaluations, that they tend to only talk about positives in the speech?
One of the things that we do, and one of the things that we do share, we start from the interview section where we interview prospective Toastmasters. And one of the pertinent questions that we ask is, how do you feel about constructive criticisms? We want to know, because we want to know how a person would accept that initially before they become a member of that club. And we want them to know that what we do is not to criticize you. It is to help and develop you as an individual, because you cannot become better if someone does not highlight an area of improvement for you. And we try not to say in the evaluation aspect, what you have done wrong. We don't use that language. We said, here are some tips or areas of improvement for your next presentation. And that's how we do it. So not, you don't want to kind of make the individual feel bad, but you want to share some areas of improvement. And so we start from when we interview, from the interview process, and we see how they respond to it. In fact, when we get into club meetings, when we vote on new members, we go through some of the pertinent questions, and that's one of the questions that's read in the business section and their response. And so we know how to handle those individuals. So we do them verbally, we do them on notes. We offer to be Outside of their assigned mentors, we offer them additional mentoring because some persons would say, well, well, Toastmaster Thompson, can you assist me with a speech? And I said, sure. This is why we're here. Even though you have your mentor, I will still assist. Come and see me at XYZ. And sure enough, they are there. So it's about improving, making oneself better. Getting to the next level. And sometimes we encourage them because we have persons that are members of multiple clubs to come out of your comfort zone and to speak at another club. Even though your club will get the educational goal in the end, we encourage you to come out, see different faces, and that's how you want to improve themselves, getting out of their comfort zone. And so that when you go into a crowd to speak, there are unfamiliar faces, but you're already used to seeing unfamiliar faces, and you can speak with boldness and you can speak with confidence. And so this is how we assist our speakers to tell them, that you have to give them areas of improvement. Barring that, you're just running a circle. You're not helping the individual. So you must get what we call the bitter with the sweet.
Very good. Thank you so much. Most of you have read or you've heard Star Wars. There is no try, there is only do. Which of our panelists would like to answer our question from Anne? How does a sci-fi club, aka Star Wars, follow Pathways programs for speeches? What would you need to understand for your leadership project to work in such a club? Any ideas? Sharla. And then Joseph, you weigh in too.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne, for that question. I thought I should change my background to a more appropriate one. The great, wonderful thing about the Pathways educational system is that it fits all of us in life, in work, in play, on things that we want to do. That's what you can do. And it is included in our sci-fi universe, in Star Wars, in Marvel. There's stories about I'm going to say real people. They are real to me. Yes. Star Wars characters are real to me. With that, you're able to talk about them, to engage, and actually you can ask different types of questions when you manage an online meeting. You can definitely do that in our Star Wars meeting. When you when you decide which project you want to do, and you need to discuss, okay, do I need to inform? Do I need to educate? Am I speaking to motivate? Am I speaking to inspire? There are tons of stories that we could speak about and inspire. We can actually even become that character and think about, how did Luke inspire us to still see good in his father? Even though Darth Vader is known to be a bad person, we know there's still good within him. How can you say a speech and entertain all of us? Easy. We're Toastmasters. We can use our imagination here. It is storytelling, and that's something that's our Toastmasters do incredibly well. So thank you for asking me about that question. And after this call, I am going to Jedi Masters, where we will be having a Toastmasters meeting tonight. Thank you.
Fantastic. Joseph, you had your hand up. You wanted to weigh in also.
Oh, absolutely. I think you just hit on it. We're storytellers. I'll go to meetings sometimes with a red nose, sometimes with funny glasses, sometimes with a trench coat, and get into character. It doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or Macho Man or wrestler. It doesn't matter. We're storytellers. We're building a character. Once you become comfortable giving speeches, it's time to step up your game. It's time to try something new. And I think Ivan said too, once your club knows you really well, go do another club. Go visit. They'd love to have you as a guest. And they don't know you, so you can make fun of yourself all you want to. They can't find you. And that's what's so exciting about these. We have a club that they actually cook food in front of camera every other week when they meet. Someone's barbecuing, someone's making a cake, someone's doing cookies. And there's a story behind that. Doesn't matter. I had a sword. I've had the big muscle chest and played Thor a couple times in speeches. Why not? What do we have to lose? We want to become better at everything we do. Remember, Toastmasters is here to help us become better outside in the real world, regardless of what we prefer to do. So have fun with it. I have a red carpet behind me because in one of my clubs, TM Studios, we do a lot of film production, red carpet. And because of Toastmasters, I've learned to do podcasts. I have over 700 podcasts right now. And I've interviewed people, I've done my own. And I did not even learn about Toastmasters till about 5 years after I got my PhD. You just don't know where you are in life, but we're always learning, we're growing. But once you're too comfortable where you are, time to move, or it's time to join an advanced club. And advanced clubs, you're not going to hear, well, I loved your speech. That's a horrible evaluation. Don't ever tell me I loved your speech. That does me no good. Tell me, be honest. You could have spoke a little bit louder, a little more clear, slowed down, had a better impact. That's what I need to become a better speaker. To tell someone they did a good job, I can't wait to hear your next speech. That's not really helping anyone. Be honest with you. With that being said, go have fun. I don't care what theme you choose, because life is good.
Life is good, and our meeting is almost over. That's how good this last hour and a half has been. I have one final question for each of our panelists, 1 minute for you to answer for just a couple final thoughts. Nadia, what is one piece of advice you would give to a club looking to inject more energy into their meetings?
Don't forget the value of recognition. We've heard a lot of great ideas today, social media postings, shouting out people in the meetings. And something we really didn't talk about is plug into the things that your district is offering too. A lot of times they're offering things for members, so make sure that people know about it and are plugging into that so they can achieve those incentives and get those awards. So recognition goes a long way in letting people know that you value what they've done, they are treasured, and gifts and prizes just keep people coming back.
Fantastic. Keep them coming back. Leads into my question for Ivan, 1 minute. How can a club make guests feel more welcome and eager to return after their first visit?
Well, one of the things that we do, we try to not just include our guests in table topic session, like every club does, but even how you engage guests with table topic session. Once you answer a question, we like what we call in the Bahamas tings. So we bring bags of chocolates, M&Ms, O. Henry, Mars. And so as you answer a question, we give it, we engage them, we invite them to our external events. On day after tomorrow, my club is having our Christmas social. And so is it just for club members? No, it's for guests alike, where we come, we engage in the Christmas cheer, we eat, we drink, and we fellowship. So when you want someone to be a part of your family, you try to treat them like family from day one. So you open your arms to them, you welcome them into your club. And whatever you're doing that's special, always invite them, be engaging with them after meetings. Don't just run out and go about your business. Be engaging, tell them, we're happy that you came. We want to see you again. We value your presence here today. You could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be with us tonight. And for that, we are most grateful and we're appreciative. And please come again. So those are the special things. Making people feel special is another way you would get them to return to your club meetings.
Fantastic. I love that. I'm glad I'm taking my notes. Joseph, what creative strategies have you seen work well for increasing member engagement during meetings?
I'm going to tell you one thing. I got married in Toastmasters last year. Our picture and photos in the Toastmasters magazine. We done the 100 anniversary event. There's an article in the Toastmasters magazine. You refer people to your Facebook page, and you need to refer people from there to what's going on outside. What I found works best, especially in-person clubs, is supporting each other outside the club. I find the most success. We have people in the club in an opera does violin. We have people who are authors. We have people speaking. We have 3 assemblymen in my clubs in the local area. We go out and support each other regardless of what it is. If they're playing in a band, at a club or music, we're going to support that. Doing an art show, we're going to support that. This club I belong in Singapore, District 80 did the 100th anniversary. They did something unique last month was they had a get together. Almost everyone met in Malaysia in November from all over the world to meet in person, to see each other. It's expensive, don't get me wrong, I couldn't go. I was speaking at an event because it was around Veterans Day, and I'm a veteran. I speak a lot of veterans things. But next year we're meeting in Japan. I know a year in advance to put my money together. I'm going to Japan to meet with 20 or 30 other people in my club. Those are things you have to do. You have to support each other outside the club and give advice or recommendations to make it better for them. And almost everything we do outside of our clubs can become a special leadership project. It's not that hard to find a project. It's easy. It's not that hard to find a speech. If you're here today, I'm sure you could have came up with a speech on something one of us said. Speeches should come as second nature, and you should always have a hip pocket speech. How many times we go to a meeting and we're short a speaker? Every one of us should have a speech ready to go, something we're working on, something we've done 100 times. It doesn't matter. And that's why it's advantageous to work at least 2 paths at a time so you can squeeze it in there somewhere. But all that being said, do stuff outside the club. Doesn't matter what it is. Christmas parties are great. When I was the area director, I took my clubs bowling. We went bowling in a competition. That was fun. I didn't do so well, but that's not the point. The point is we got together and we had fun and we celebrated each other's wins. So we're doing well there, and I'm going to get off my soapbox. Thank you.
Celebrating a win. All right, Sharla, you just had the hearts up there. What is a unique activity or theme that you have used or that you have experienced that has brought a lot of energy to a meeting?
With our hearts, I love the fact that not only do we celebrate our members and our guests, but as vice president of membership, I'm responsible for the guests and the members. So again, I'm using these hands because we want to touch everybody. So I love that we can have some special treats. I don't know if it's because you're from the Bahamas that you all treated people so well. At the conference that we went to, I want to come back to the Bahamas because they were so friendly. At our club, we like to have something for all the speakers. In fact, the speakers, our members' partners that come along with them, another group calls them the Toastmasters in-laws. For those people, we have special things. For those people that eat chocolate, we have that. For gluten-free, we have something for them. We just want them to know that they're special and we appreciate them also. So we do different things. Our grammarian, just this last week, the person that said the word of the day, the person that said it the most and the second most, she had Godiva gift cups for them. I'm sorry, not Godiva, Giardelli gift cups, just to give them and say, thank you for saying the word of the day. So our different functionaries have great things. Our president, because it was our holiday meeting, I was the Christmas tree. I don't know if you all can see this.
A little bit.
I was the Christmas tree. My colleague was the Grinch in suit, and the other one was Cindy Lou Who. She gave us, and she was also the club president, she gave us special little ornaments to put on our tree, and this one is the Grinch. So different little things to make people feel special for every meeting on every occasion. So not only do you get the best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics, but you get in a cute bag, you get a cute cup, it says dining out, it says what you want, and then there's something festive because we only meet with that club once a month. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharla. All right, Kathy, the first panelist I introduced, we're going to end with you as my last panelist for the last question. What would be your bit of advice for all of our attendees here that you would hope that they definitely take away and implement at their next club meeting if possible?
I have a philosophy that every Toastmaster meeting I attend is to take away one golden nugget. So of everything that you heard tonight, whatever one thing really excited you, take it back, talk to your officers about it, and implement one idea. When we think about this skills gap, when we think about how to make process improvement, when we think about how can we make our clubs better, when we can think about how can we make our Toastmasters experience more exciting, more dynamic, how can we gauge our members? Think about a scale of 1 to 10. Wherever you say we are now, the idea is what can move at 1 point? The 1 point is the one action that you're going to take for your next meeting. It's just that simple. Celebrate a member, create an idea, ask your members, do a survey, conduct a poll. But you have to pull in and capitalize on your members' interests. You can offer a murder mystery all day long, but if nobody wants to do a murder mystery, nobody's going to be on board. Ask them what they want to do. But if you pitch the idea and it's exciting, people will participate. Find your one idea and run with it.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I want to thank all of my panelists, Kathy Shine, District 35, Sharla Ozen from District 56, Nadia Gilkes from District 115, Joseph Skoda, Mr. Cuddles, District 33, and Ivan Thompson in District 47. We have a lot of experience that we were able to share with each and every one of you tonight. As Kathy said, your golden nugget. Find it, take it back to your clubs, talk about it, share it, and expand on it. And Ann Golden, I would like to thank you for offering all of us this opportunity, this wonderful topic, and I return control back to you for adjournment in less than a minute.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Kris. And to your phenomenal group of panelists, Joseph, Sharla, Kathy, Nadia, and where's Ivan? Yes. I